What's up, Richard Simmons here. Since I'm doing my favorite musical movies of each decade, it is time for the 2000s turn. So here are my official top 10 favorite musical movies of the year of the 2000s. Lots of really cool music that year. Like I kid you not, this was a little bit of a hard list to make. But I decided to narrow it down to 10, obviously. So here is my list. All right, number 10 is is a 2008 rock opera musical film Repo the Genetic Opera. Now, this was directed by Darren Lou Bousman, who gave us a couple of the Saw movies. And you got the likes of Alexa Vega, Paul Savino, Paris Hilton was in this one, Bill Moseley. Had some really, you even had a fun cameo by Joan Jett, which was pretty cool to see. If you guys don't know much about the story for Repo the Genetic Opera, it is set in a dystopian future where organ failure is rampant, and Genco finances transplant, then send a repo man to repossess, the organs and stuff. And of course, a little bit of a spoiler: the repo man is, the main character's father, and so, of course, by the way, the main character Shiloh is played by Alexa Vega. I really quite enjoy Repo the Genetic Opera. It's a lot of it's pretty cool to check out. Of course you got Anthony Head, who you might know from Buffy the Vampire Slayer fame. He was great in this one. Really great songs too. From Zydra Academy to At the Opera Tonight to the 17th song. I didn't know I Love You So Much. I mean, it had some really cool music moments in this. Paris Hilton, I am it, was actually surprisingly solid in this one. I really quite obviously she played like the spoiled Hera, so obviously she played herself really. And obviously this was around a time where like Paris Hilton was obviously really popular and stuff. So they were trying to capitalize Paris Hilton being in movies, whatever. Obviously, House of Wax she was in, and Reaper the Jack Opera. She had an interesting face scene in this. Yeah. And the late great Paul Sorvino is awesome in this as well. I mean, it's such a really fun one. Fun, gory stuff as well. I mean, you don't really see as much horror musical movies nowadays, so I admit. I was gonna choose between either this or Phantom of the Opera. The one with Emma Rossum. I decided to go with. I think Repo is a tad bit better than Phantom of the Opera. That's, and I like Phantom of the Opera, but I really prefer Repo. All right. Speaking of horror musical movies, number 9 is Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Of course, directed by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp, the late great Alan Rickman. Of course, this is based on the very popular, Broadway musical, starring Johnny Depp as, as the role of Sweeney Todd, who's of course a wrongfully imprisoned barber, Benjamin Barker, returns to London as Sweeney Todd, seeking vengeance on the judge, played by Al Rickman, who destroyed his family here. And you have some really great, songs in this, like A Little Priest, Joanna, Pretty Woman. I mean, there has been other really cool adaptations of like Sweeney Todd before, but they weren't really music related. This is definitely the best adaptation in my opinion. Johnny Depp embodies Sweeney Todd perfectly. Helen Bonham Carter was great in this. Before he was in Stranger Things fame. Jamie Campbell Bower. This was like obviously years before Vecna fame kicked in. But yeah, Sweeney Todd is a really good one. All right, number 8 is High School Musical. I love the High School Musical franchise. Of course, this is the Disney Channel original movie, which made a star out of Zac Efron, who plays Troy Bolton, who's this obviously he of course falls for Gabriella, played by Vanessa Hudgens, while auditioning for the Ryder Winter musical here, and it's such a really like definitely one of the best Disney Channel original movies there is. Obviously they will go on to make 2 other High School Musical movies, obviously a TV show as well, which made a star out of Olivia Rodrigo. But High School Musical also has some great music from We're All in This Together, to Something New, Breaking Free. I mean, some really great music that will be stuck in your head after seeing this. And yeah, High School Musical is just is always awesome, and it was cool during the epidemic where they actually did like a little high school reunion, musical reunion, which I thought that was pretty cool. All right, number seven is Dreamgirls. Of course, this movie came out in 2006, featuring the likes of Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, who obviously will go on to win an Oscar for this, Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy, who got an Oscar nomination for this as well. He actually got a Golden Globe win, though. Dreamgirls is terrific. Great performances by the likes of Beyonce, great music from like Dreamgirls to One Night Only. Eddie Murphy definitely could bust out a tune perfectly here. I mean, Dreamgirls is a really wonderful film. Beyonce really showcased her talent. Anika Nani Rose, was also great. It's such a really decent musical film. They actually did a lot of music over this, by the way. All right, number six is Across the Universe. The movie, of course, is set to classic Beatles songs and follows Jude, played by Jim Sturgis, who's a Brit artist who moves to America and falls for this young activist named Lucy, played by Evan Rachel Wood. And obviously, they get swept up into the turbulent of 1960s. Across the Universe is terrific. Obviously, the main characters are named after Beatles music. Like Jim Sturgis' Jude is named after the song Hey Jude, while obviously Lucy is named after the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And I've always liked the Beatles beforehand. This movie actually made me appreciate the Beatles music even more. I mean, I always will bust out a tune of Across the Universe. Whether it's like Hey Jude, whether it's Come Together, All You Need Is Love, Strawberries, Feel Forever. I mean, have some really great solid songs here. It's just such a really remarkable one. Great cinematography as well. It is beautiful to look at. The chemistry with Jim Sturgis and Evan Rachel Wood is terrific. I mean, if you guys never seen Across the Universe, do yourself a favor, give it a go. It's a really remarkable film, and it'll actually make you become a Beatles fan if you wasn't before. All right, number five is Mamma Mia. I really enjoyed Mamma Mia a lot. Of course, starring Meryl Streep, Amanda Seyfried. This is, of course, where bride to be Sophia navigates, invites like three men to a Greek island wedding after discovering that they might be her father here, and of course you got Amanda Seyfried, who's terrific. Really great songs like Dancing Queen. Uh, you know the song Mamma Mia. I mean, it's a really decent. And of course the SOS song. That Meryl Streep and Pierce Brosnan sing together is really cool. I mean, Mamma Mia is just such a really good one. Obviously based on the Broadway's show, for music by ABBA. And of course, obviously, there will go on to be a sequel like 10 years after. We might not get another one until like 2028, I'm guessing. But, alright. Number four is Rent. I enjoyed Rent. Of course, it was directed by Home Alone director Chris Columbus, based on the very popular Broadway show by Jonathan Lawson. And it is where like a group of struggling artists in New York's East Village try to survive love, loss, and the AIDS crisis here. Great cast list. You got Anthony Rapp, Adam Pascal, Rosario Dawson, Adele Dazeem, or Dana was I should say, Jesse L. Martin. Great music as well, from Season of Love to Take Me or Leave Me. It's just such a really remarkable one. Great musical performance. Great songs here. 525,600 million songs is one of the most iconic, probably my favorite song here. It's just such a good one. All right. Coming in at number three is Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge is excellent. Directed by Boz Lerman, starring Ewan McGregor, Nicole Kidman, Jim Broadbent. Great music from Come What May to Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, Nature Boy. It's just such a good one. Great performances by Nicole Kidman, by Ewan McGregor. Of course, it is where like a young writer who wasn't in love with Satine, played by Nicole Kidman. who's the glamorous courtesan of Moulin Rouge in 1899 Paris, and they pursue like a forbidden romance, like Romeo and Juliet style here, and it's just really remarkable. Great performances all around, great music. It's just such a really good one. All right, coming in at number two is the Oscar-winning film Chicago. Of course, based on the very popular Broadway show, directed by Rob Marshall, who I think is like the godfather when it comes to musicals. He directed the Little Mermaid remake, Into the Woods, uh, Mary Poppins Returns. He's done some interesting musical movies over the years. I think he's actually doing a new version of Guys and Dolls as well, so there's that. But Chicago is great. Of course, the movie that won Catherine Zeta-Jones an Oscar. Richard Gere was in this. Queen Latifah, who got an Oscar nomination as well. Renee Zellweger as Roxy Hart. Great music from All That Jazz to Razzle Dazzle. Core Block Tango. Of course, it stars Renee Zellweger as a wannabe Roxy Hart, who murders her lover and ends up in jail alongside famed performer Velma Kelly, played wonderfully by Catherine Zeta-Jones, and with the help of a slick lawyer, played by Richard Gere. She becomes like a media sensation and on. And it's just such a really wonderful film. Great music all around. Great performances by the cast. It's such a really good one. And my favorite musical movie of that decade, speaking of Queen Latifah, by the way, coming in at number one is Hairspray. People will probably have Chicago as their number one and all, but my favorite musical movie of that decade is Hairspray. Directed by Adam Shankman, who obviously gave us, Two by Dozen Two, Bring Down the House, many others, featuring John Travolta in drags, which awesome there. This is actually a musical movie, which obviously more based on the like a remake of the original John Waters film, but more based on the Broadway show, really. And this, of course, takes place in 1962 Baltimore, where teen Tracy Turnblad dreams of dancing on the Courtney Collins show, and she earns her new fame to fight for racial integration and acceptance, and great music from "You Can't Stop the Beat" to "Good Morning Baltimore," "Big Blonde Beautiful." Great cast too. You had John Travolta, Zac Efron, Queen Latifah, Amanda Bynes, some really great cast members survive. Seeing John Travolta playing Edna Turnblad is always hilarious to watch. He really plays the part very well here, and seeing him like do a music number with Christopher Walken is always great. It's just such a really wonderful film. I just adore this one a lot. I still remember seeing this one in theaters. I had a fun time seeing it, and it's such a really good one. And I admit, this is definitely one of the rare times where a remake, in my opinion, is better than the original. The original John Waters film with Ricky Lake and Divine is cool and all, but I think the 2007 one is actually far better in my opinion. But that's just me. But that's pretty much it there. Here's of course my quick rundown. Number 10, Repo the Genetic Opera. 9, Sweeney Todd. 8, High School Musical. 7, Dreamgirls. 6, Across the Universe. 5, Mamma Mia. 4, Rent. 3, Moulin Rouge. 2, Chicago. And number 1 is Hairspray. Now, there's a few other ones I could have included as well. Enchanted is another good one. Center Stage. 9. Once. Camp Rock. The Producers with Matthew Broderick. That's another good one I could have included. Definitely not The Flying Temptation, that terrible movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beyonce. Ooh, that was terrible. But anyway, let me let you guys. What's some of your favorite musical movies of the 2000s? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Super Sign.